teams deserve because of how closely matched they are. A really good draft for the past set for Reject though, so we'll see if they can do that yet again and take another win before the game even starts, or if Crazy Raccoon will be able to bounce back and take this in a 3-1 victory. Well, me, I hope Reject managed to take this one and we get a set 5 to decide it all, but as we head on into the draft of Layer Cake in Bounty, we should be slowing it back down a bit. It was very, very hectic there in Hot Zone, which isn't something you kind of come to expect on that mode.
Trav, you're gonna have to bring me back down to earth, mate, I'll be honest. I mean, can we just acknowledge the fact that the DPS record of the BSC just got broken by someone who retired in 2022? Like, I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous, but I love it. I really do. But Reject needed something in that set that was going to hopefully turn the tides back into some level of normality for them. And that is the catalyst that you want, isn't it, really? But let's see whether, you know, in Bounty and Layer Cake, that proves to be the case. I would love this to go all the way. But they left the Juju open, and that's kind of my concern here. Picked up immediately by Crazy Raccoon, the bands being the Barley, the Melody, and of course the Shade there as well, the Lou, the Berry, and the Kit. Reject taking no chances there, and I appreciate them for it. But yeah, on a map like Layer Cake, it's a lot of like lake activity, bush activity. It's not a great thing to leave a Juju open, Trav, you know, unless of course you've got a really strong counter plan up your sleeve, and there's not really many of them when it comes to Juju. She's just that good.
Yeah, there really isn't. Stu's going to come in though, trying to take this mobility and possibly be able to get round these shots that Juju's going to be throwing out, but with no Barley, no Berry, those are two very good throwers out of the way, and Juju on the side of Crazy Raccoon. You start to doubt Reject, there's a little bit of doubt creeping into my mind that we'll be seeing in set number 5, but Stu is a great place to start for this roster, and we'll see what they add to it as well. Obviously Kit being banned out of the way, I couldn't be more pleased about that considering how much this region loves to play it, and then Gus to go along with the Stu.
Much prefer the Gus to the Stu, but I do appreciate the pressure of which the Stu can bring when you're sort of pushed up against the wall. You know, Stu can dash in, dash out, the hypercharge, of course, really just adding to that whole thing. But wasn't the brawler that I would ever have expected as a first pick, though, on a map like Layer Cake. Let's see what Crazy Raccoon are considering bringing in on top of this Juju pick, and certainly I think range would be a good shout. You've got to have something against Gus. RT, yep, I do like that quite a lot. I think that is really in a good spot for me as a brawler, especially now that they've sort of changed some of the gadget. You know, the Hacks gadget was always a really, really good one for it, but out of line now gives you the option to be able to get an immediate super, which I think is bringing RT into a very nice place in the meta. Janet, love that pick. You know, wouldn't have ever thought that I'd be here saying that. You know, looking back from last year, if someone said, you know, the first monthly final of the year, you're going to be loving a Janet pick in Bounty. But that's what the Hyperchargers really brought to the table for her. And of course, with really versatile gadgets for her as well, like the drop the base, having that radius of damage that, you know, lets you've got something to really reach it with. It stays and remains Kenji. I mean, that's a brawler which was so prevalent in like the World Finals lead up to, but now, is it as good as it once was? I'm not overly convinced, but I don't mind it at all.
It's not as good as it once was, to put it simply.
Yeah.
But Crazy Raccoon, I like what they've got. The Janet and the Juju are really, really speaking to me, and then the RT as well. It's a solid pick. Going to be decent against defending against that Kenji at close range when the other two can't really. Janet and Juju not got the best of damage at close range, or the best of damage at all, I should say. So that gives Reject a little bit of an in, and especially if they can chain these Stu Supers, get that mobility going, they're not going to be in a bad place at all to be able to, you know, have a good fight here.
Well, a quick dash in there from Shoot to get that blue star. Immediately so, but no respect to Reject for continuing the aggression forwards despite having it. Normally we see teams go immediately back on the defense, but Shoot's not doing that, so definitely going to be some fireworks in this set for sure, it feels to me. Shoot's still going in as well. That's a bit overzealous, I think, but the Juju now has Grigri as well, going with the slice and dice, gets it as well, and back out. Oh, Reject is starting to cook. 5 stars of a lead now and that blue, and they're looking more aggressive than ever.
Yeah, I'm surprised Mokro didn't just place the Grigri when the Kenji was kind of in her face. It probably would have defended it considering he was one shot, but nice aggression coming in from Reject, and you can't fault them for how well they're playing. Goes in, takes out the drop the base as well, but it's only a couple of kills in between Crazy Raccoon and a nice equalizer, so Mokro getting a few shots in, and Shu over aggressors, and that provides 3 of the stars.
Yes, they are now getting to a much better position. McGregor coming out, and against the... Yeah, that's the other thing as well. Picking Kenji into Juju's such a statement here by Shu. He's got to really put his weight on it. That's the man on the right-hand side, low HP now as well. And look at this. McGregor's getting some good taps. Nice, though, gadget from Melty. Oh, but he's pushed right back here. 64 HP. Shu's got a tank, and he does. Oh, this is really not good, though, for Reject. They're going to be going all down if they're not careful here.
So close. Narrowly missed that shot by Tensai, but Milkrayer will finish that. Man needs to try and get forwards and get something going. Tensai doesn't get around the wall, which is going to set him back a little bit on this retreat. But Shu can definitely make it happen in these closing seconds. A few slice and dices, but there's the green. Now he's pushing forwards, just going to ignore it for now. Great shots coming in, though, and he's going to get the heal off one of those ghosts. Stu, one shot, 8 seconds on the clock. Melty so low, and 2 go down. Batterman can only stand and watch as Crazy Raccoon get to match point.
Yeah, great composure from Crazy Raccoon there, and absolutely deserved. You know, there was some moments where I thought maybe Reject could hold the lead there, especially after what was a flying start. It really was. But, you know, you've got to be able to hold that and get the balance between aggression and defense. And they just didn't really seem to do that. As soon as things started to escalate in favor of Crazy Raccoon, you know, it went from bad to worse so quickly. And, you know, when you got a 5-star lead against a team like Crazy Raccoon in a grand finals, you know, you've got to hold on to that a little bit better. And I think this Kenji pick is going to really struggle with. Phil Greer is staying on top of things the entire way through, which he's been doing really quite successfully. Tensai as well there, fighting Batterman. No, this could be it. I mean, this is a match point scenario here. If Crazy Raccoon can win this game, they will take the first monthly final of the year home.
I mean, great position for him to be in as well. Oh, down he goes, though, and that's 3 stars flipped, and Batterman continues going forward. Reject seem like they don't want to back off at all. They have this aggressive comp, and they know that. They need to stay on these front lines, but we do see them slightly backing up now, but it was when they got in these back lines when they started to struggle in the last game.
Batterman trying to creep forwards here, but look at Moya immediately puts down the legs there as well, and Shu's forced back. McGreer shielded. Batterman finds Moya there as well. 6 stars now, but we've seen bigger leads with Reject in that last game that they lost. Look at that, as quickly as they say it. Batterman goes down, feeding stars over. Now it's just the blue as a separation. Batterman coming back in. Very careful of Moya here on this RT pick, because he is quite the threat, and now McGregor coming in yet again. You know, I'm worried for sure the Kenji once more as Tensai takes this guy.
Melty gets hit there, down to 64 HP. Shu's one shot, slice and dice comes in, he goes down, and Tensai in the back lines will trade out, but the blue star remains with Crazy Raccoon. They're going to start to retreat now and play on this defensive line, as we do have the legs available for Moya as well if Shu comes in aggressive. But they have to be careful about dropping these, because anyone goes down and Reject can even it out.
Low HP for McGregor, but Batterman's even lower, dashes away. The Gasser Hill coming in clutch, but at the end of the day, it is still Reject that do need to get a kill. The blue is with Crazy Raccoon. If no one goes down, it will be theirs. 9 seconds, Shu going for one final ditch attempt, but McGregor pops the shield. Everyone still stays standing. It's going to be now or never, and Shu is low. Shu goes down. It's going to tip the balance, and Crazy Raccoon are your champions for East Asia. They are the monthly final victors.
We're getting victory celebrations. We're getting great vibes. I love to see it, and I'm so happy for them after a marathon performance tonight. And both of you can speak better than I can to the long history that's led up to this moment for this roster, but I love seeing the joy on their faces.
I mean, it was another one of Milkrio's famous dances being on show there at the end. So pleased that he's able to win this one and, you know, prove that Crazy Raccoon still can succeed, even with roster changes. But 3-2-3 and 2-1-2, not that far apart. Reject had their moments, but it was just those kind of flip of stars and how aggressive they kind of had to be, that when they had the lead and had to drop into a defensive position, they were kind of hung out to dry.
I think for me as well, Shu there, just the one takedown, 70 DPS. I mean, on that Kenji pick, which you got to remember, they picked into the Juju as well, so they were taking a massive risk. It wasn't like that there was a countermeasure in the draft. They knew what they were doing, and it just didn't pay off. They obviously had, in their opinion, an advantage with it, despite it being a really rough matchup. It didn't shine through. The damage just did not reflect in any way at all, and that was really the thorn in his side from start to finish. Milkrayer played that Juju to perfection, and thoroughly deserving of taking the win here for Crazy Raccoon. Not the cleanest of days, certainly I would say by reflection of other years as well. Crazy Raccoon have normally looked a lot more threatening than today, but hey, a win is a win, and they absolutely deserved it.
Absolutely. Looking at what they had to go through to get here, taking out Effort Result to start, Na'Vi, one of the favorites, and then Reject, another team that had absolutely blown through this bracket with unexpected, clean, and fearsome plays. But they're sitting here, our victors of the very first East Asia Monthly Finals for our Brawl Stars Champions League, and it's gotta feel great to be the first ones out the gate with such a great title and so many great games behind them to look back on. And looking back on here, as I'm sure lots of other teams will in the coming competitive weeks and months, any takeaways that you've seen that you really want to shout out? Any, if you're just joining us, there's a whole VOD for you to go watch, but I got two casters here who know the best moments, so shout one out for me, Art.
For me, I've got to say, I'm very excited to see what the remaining months will bring for this region. I mean, we've seen big roster shakeups, bigger than we've ever really seen in East Asia. A lot of these big titans now on opposing teams. So, I mean, that is really, for me, where I think East Asia is gonna be going and getting bigger and better as some of these roster movements that have taken a bit of time to settle in and become really more at home with each other. They're going to settle in. They're going to be getting stronger, and the competition is really going to be rising and heating up as we go throughout the year. So I think Richard did a really good stand today. I think the best team won on the day as well. I think Crazy Raccoon will only go from strength to strength now. Still have some reservations going into that grand finals, but they've proved me wrong, and I'm glad that they did it as well. But for the other teams as well, for Zeta, this one is not done yet. We're going to see a response, and I cannot wait for when it comes.
And we have a community vote information as well. They've selected Milk Rio as our MVP. How do you feel about that, Trev?
I feel that's fair. He's genuinely played really well, subbing into a roster